Hello there, this is Critical from Critical Media, just taking a look at the 2006 trade paperback release of Atomica, Volume 1, God is Red. This is a book from Sal Abbinanti and Andrew Dabb, and what we normally do at this channel is give you an idea of what to expect if you come across this book in the wild. However, I'm actually doing this more as a value proposition because Sal Abbinanti just announced that he will be releasing the Deluxe hardcover edition through Kickstarter later next year. And in that light, this comes off the heel of his already successful Kickstarter, The Hostage. And that's this lovely piece of work right here. Excellent art, excellent prose, and an excellent premium approach toward its creation. So I can only imagine he gives the deluxe hardcover the same kind of loving care. For those who've watched other videos on this channel, yes, I'm a major fan of hardcovers over trades, but hey, trades still give us what we can, right? So, at least back to this theme of this channel. In terms of the exterior, because that's what we usually do, just give you the exterior, bonus material, and some art and plot points. Right off the bat, you see an excellent cover by Alex Ross, a traditional spine, and of course, a very minimalist rear end here, and of course, the art from Sal Abbinanti. As a matter of fact, Sal Abbinanti and Alex Ross are good friends of each other. As a matter of fact, Alex Ross's agent is Sal Abbinanti. So there's that connection there. He also, what's the word? He also covers, what's his name? Bill Sienkiewicz as well. My apologies for spacing on the name. But in terms of the bonus material, that does kind of lend into Abbinanti's networking because, yes, you will get another set of covers here. And yes, you'll get Alex Ross, you'll get Glenn Fabry, you'll get Michael Turner, you'll even get John Romita, which is awesome. Yeah, you could always tell him Mike Turner, can't you? Bill Sienkiewicz. This one's actually done by Buzz, who actually does the inks of this book as well, the earlier issues at least. This particular one always reminded me of Superman Red Sun, which came out, I think, 2 years prior to this. So that was like Mark Millar's book, of course. Thankfully, they're definitely different. And there's that God MC John Romita Sr. So it evokes a lot of that Marvel Silver Age there. And even covers on the literal cover of the book itself. I appreciate that. Now, for those who may not be familiar with Atomica, just to put you in the right place, this story takes place the end of the 19th century, early 20th century, and Russia, they've already mastered technology to a point where they've wedded it with magic, so alchemy of sorts, and they've already now begun to conquer the world, and now they're beginning to conquer even the deities themselves. So I guess that hubris has gotten to the point where they want to develop their own gods. And a constant theme throughout this book is God created man, man creates God. And the first issue, it pretty much plays out where it's basically Atomica in a metaphoric stance explaining how he came into being. And the way I always interpreted it was that he was already, this is Atomica here as a child, he was already the god of inspiration, the god of the future. But the leaders of the time, the main antagonist of the story, Aronir, leader of the government, the czar, so to speak, he's wanting to now develop his own god. So he manipulates Atomica, and you get a brief little history of the gods and, of course, the Russian government's technologies at the time. And I always love this particular page because his mother represents Russia itself. And I love how this particular panel almost breathes the land into her costume, so to speak. I love that aspect. And of course, through the machinations that they have at their disposal, they basically build Atomica into their future god. And he's basically the nuclear powered symbol of their hierarchy. So throughout the story, Aronir, the main antagonist, he notices that yes, by creating a god, didn't realize that he also begs devotion, and the people love him for it. So it's this bit of a jealousy power struggle aspect to it, where Aronir will even go as far as developing his own little Justice League of sorts and other means to try and distract Atomica from his goals. Probably one of my favorite images here This is a perfect example of Abbinanti's work where he does get criticized for being very aggressive, very dark, very rigid with his style, but it lends itself so well to this story. After all, this is his baby. So in that light, you can see like how immersive the environments can be, and that's a theme throughout the entire book. I love that aspect. And this story also even has tomes of other myths and folklore. So if you ever heard of Father Frost, like that's like an old fairy tale I remember from like one of my old books. But they actually make an appearance, and not only that, they're actually apparently throughout this book I realized, oh, it's actually based on a Russian folklore legend, Morosko. So how perfect it takes place in Siberia. I love how the use of each issue has its own color tone and theme. So being in Siberia, a lot of blues, and because Atomika is more nuclear powered, anytime he gets down or is winning the fight, you'll start to notice the pages start to turn more red and bloody. And probably one of my favorite images here, that posturing stance, absolutely love it. And as you can see here, just what I mentioned with that red plume, so very evocative indeed. Even going as far as even linking itself to historical events, like if you're familiar with the whole Pinsk Marshes scenario, where a lot of the Jewish refugees from World War II had to reside, also the whole Chernobyl scenario as well. I like how it actually makes an appearance here and really gets Sal Abbinanti to really show off a lot of those environments. Very, very evocative art here. My only real criticism with Volume 1 is that it does end on a penultimate turn. And I feel like, yes, I never got a chance to own Volume 2, so I'm so thankful that the hardcover's on the way. But overall, very good story. It's a 9 out of 10 when you put them both together, I'd say. But definitely a worthy read. I do appreciate that, yes, there's this little ash can pulp version of the book as well, where, yeah, it's more penciled. This is what you usually get when you back a Kickstarter or something like that. So I definitely appreciate that as well. Probably a lot of the Frederick Hart sculptures come to mind whenever I see Atomika here. But nonetheless, this isn't about me. Maybe you're interested in the Kickstarter, maybe you're interested in more of a hardcover, or just like Atomika in general. But I wouldn't mind hearing your thoughts in the comments down below nonetheless. Y'all folks take care and enjoy the rest of your day.